So we're gonna split these two episodes, obviously. The first episode we talked a lot about, religion and her journey, once she left that house and being a divorcee and how people treated her and all this stuff. It was a heavy episode, I would say, because emotionally, that was your entire life,
Yeah.
like for 20 plus years or
from
your
birth.
entire life, actually.
I was born in the yeah.
I stand corrected. So that was a whole journey in its own self.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are. You're trying to navigate everything in your life where you're directing who you want to be, like how you want to dress, who you talk to, who you date. And so this part of the episode, I want to talk about, your personal life now, like you going out and wearing what you want, don't need to wear garments, and how, you're free and you're dating and you're just fun. Like you are me. Like, I don't want to say she's like at my level, like she's, in her 20s and, hoeing around or whatever. She's not doing that, but she's having fun. She's trying to figure out what she likes, who she likes, and it's a very fun journey, and I really want you guys to kind of be along with the ride of finding out what she's been doing. So give us the rundown, give us the tea. So you can say like, code names like guy number 1, guy number 2. Okay. So, but we're gonna be repetitive about it.
Yeah, we'll use So, one of my biggest fears after getting a divorce is I was very aware that divorcees go through a hoe phase where they sleep with everyone, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that because I was like, first of all, I'm deathly afraid of STDs. Like they scare me to death. Totally afraid of them, right? And not only that, because I had such traumatic experience with men, I didn't want to allow a man that I don't know into my space, right, and have access to me.
And compromise that energy that you have.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I thought about it a lot. So there was a huge lack of intimacy in my marriage, like for years and years and years and years and years. So I was starving. And then I also had such negative daily contact with my ex. It was always, it was mostly body shaming, right? Mm-hmm. So I really had a very negative thought of myself, the way I looked, the way my body was. I felt really, 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 really down. Mm-hmm. And then you go through a divorce and it really hits your self-esteem. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I do want to go out and date, but I don't know that I really want to like date. I really don't like the idea of like, hi, how are you? My name is so-and-so. Like, let's meet for tacos or let's go to, the park. Like, bleh. Yeah. I do not barf.
You are not a Tinder girl. You're not a Tinder girl.
No. I actually went on a couple dating apps. I think you and Ariana got me on one once. At 3,000 messages by the next morning. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I just shut it off. I'm like, I can't do this.
I didn't know this. I did not know this. No.
Yeah, 3,000 messages. I was like, I'm like, is that 300? Oh, no, that's 3,000. So I'm like, no.
Do you guys hear this? Guys, 3,000 is a lot. I get like 3 messages. Like, I'm not even kidding, Angela.
Well,
it's bonkers.
It's probably because there's this generation of 20-something boys who are like, ooh, I want a cougar, right? And so all of us older women are like, son, once you know how to use the equipment, we can talk.
Oh my God, Angela. I'm crying.
So I had a ton of 20-somethings that I was like, boy, no.
No, honey.
Right, exactly.
I am your mom's age.
No, for real.
That
like, you are
so
the
funny.
age of my oldest son. Step off. I'm not interested, right?
I mean, you also live in like prime ASU area.
Oh, yeah.
All these boys are like, maybe I can get, or
maybe
like,
you can't.
Yeah, no, it's not happening, baby boy. It's not happening, baby boy.
So I had a friend that I've been friends with for a long time, and he was divorced, and we had been talking. I had started talking to him. I ran into him before my divorce was final, and he's like, "How are you doing? How are your kids? Blah blah." And I said, "Well, I'm actually in the middle of a divorce. It's almost final. We're like last couple paperwork."
So he was a friend. He was
a friend. He's been a friend for years. Yeah. And he was incredible. Like, we talked about everything, and I've always felt safe with him because he's very empathetic, but at the same time, he's very real with me. Like, he'll say things like, "That's stupid," or "Why would you do that?" or "That's a good idea." And it comes from a place of honesty, not like competitiveness or whatever. 100%. Right? And so I felt really safe around him anyway. And so we started talking, and then I remember thinking to myself, I remember saying to him, "I just don't feel beautiful. Like, I'm like, I'm trying to work on my butt. I'm trying to work on my thighs, but like going out and dating, I'm really worried because I do have low self-esteem right now, and I don't want to attract the wrong person." And he's like, "You think your butt and thighs are big?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Angela, you are hanging out with the wrong people." And I'm like,
hell yeah, you are.
Light bulb. So yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's true. But like, nonetheless, like, this is what has happened to me. So this is guy number one. So guy number one has been my friend for a long time. And so I'm actually the one that sent him a text and was like, "Hey."
Just say it. Say it, Angela. Say what the crowd wants to hear.
Do you want to hook up? And he's like, "Absolutely."
She said it, guys.
And I was like, "Really?"
She said what every girl wants to ask.
Right? And he's like, "Yeah." So I'm like, okay. So that was weird for me, right? Because I was like, I thought, right?
Yeah.
It took a ton of courage, but then I was like, what do I have to lose, right? We'll
because
probably still be friends.
You were neglected of that for years.
Totally, yes.
And it was like you begging almost for it.
I asked for it all the time.
And you never got it.
No.
And so when it's so easy, just like that, he said
I
yes,
know.
just like that.
I was
you
like,
asked me
what?
a simple question. You were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like that?
Yeah.
What?
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm a single mom with kids living with me. He's a single dad with kids living with him. So I'm like, I'll just grab a hotel room. So we grab a hotel room, and like, here we are thinking, like, he's like, "Yeah, my kids have a t-ball game, whatever." I'm like, okay, well, I can't imagine it's going to be that long, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, might be TMI.
You can decide whether you want to say it or not.
I'm totally going to say it, but you decide whether or not you want to keep it. So he and I have there's always been like attraction, but it was always very monitored because I was married. Even though I was married really pretty much only on paper, I was still married. And he was very respectful of that. We never flirted, never anything, right?
Good.
So the second that he walked in the room, it was like, every bit of attraction that I had for him and that he had for me was literally like unleashed. And that very first kiss that we had was like, I'm not kidding you. He was shaking, actually. He was shaking. Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah,
no
he
way.
Was shaking. Yeah.
Like he was nervous?
He was nervous.
Oh, that's so cute.
No, he was nervous and shaking. But then like real quickly it just like melted. And we had the most incredible night, and his phone starts like dinging, right? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you've got your kid's t-ball game." And he looks at his phone and he's like, "Wait, what?" He goes, "That's gotta be wrong." He's like, "Look at your phone. What time does it say?" And we met at 5
p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the t-ball game was at 7. And so we're like, plenty of time, right? So I'm thinking, oh God, was it like 8 or something? Like, it was midnight.
Oh.
We had been together from 5 p.m. until midnight.
Oh.
Like, active.
Oh. Active. Keyword active. Damn, Angela.
We weren't chatting.
Oh my God. You're joking. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. That is amazing. You go, girl. You go, girl.
And he was like, oh my God. He's like, you are incredible. And for me, when he said that, I was like, what? I'm incredible? Wait.
Honestly, I would burst into tears if
I'm
someone
good?
said that after you had just
when he left, I cried.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I sat there and I was like,
when you like give yourself your body like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my soul. Like we have insane chemistry.
Yeah.
Like it really is insane.
Honestly,
it's hard to describe.
It's a unpopular opinion or maybe fact. I don't know. But for us people, you and I feel like when you like, you know, are intimate with someone.
Yeah.
It hits your soul.
Oh, totally.
It's not like something that you can just brush off or disconnect from.
The difference though is like with my ex, I didn't have that. Guy number one.
Yes. When
he left, I just remember thinking that was different. And it wasn't like it wasn't just like exciting different. It was like soul different. And I wasn't really sure what to do after that. And you know, after something like that, you're like, so are we going to like see each other again or not?
There's a big question mark.
Yeah. You're like, I mean, I literally just asked him to hook up once, but like, who knows? And the whole time he was like, oh my God, where have you been my whole life? Like, that's what he's saying to me. Right.
So the big mishap that kind of happened was you wanted it to be a hookup and then it totally just burst into something magical.
Yeah.
Mm.
So for
guy
the
number
last
one,
year,
you did a great job.
Yeah. So for the last year, guy number one and I still get together, but because our lives are so different and in different places, I don't imagine us having anything more than just this. And at some point, it's going to have to end because it's just not realistic to keep going like this, right?
Yeah.
But we have the type of chemistry that if I'm in a relationship and he's in a relationship, we probably should never see each other even on the street because we have insane chemistry.
Yeah.
Like it's like
magnetic.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like nobody on this earth would be able to keep us apart. Like it's like that.
We all want what we can't have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and he and we've talked about it. It's like, it's just not
obtainable.
It's not right now. Yeah. So that's guy number one. And he was amazing. But so this last October, guy number one and I had a conversation about like kind of where things were going and whatever, and realized that it just wasn't realistic for us to really even date. And I said, I'm kind of ready to date. I mean, aren't you ready to date? And he says, kind of a little bit. And I said, okay, let's take a little break. You go figure out who you're going to date and I'll go on, a couple dating websites. That turned out terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
Ended up getting a bunch of dick pics and that was it. Unsolicited. Let me put unsolicited in there. And I was like, okay.
When is it ever solicited?
Right?
Like,
and why do you guys think we want to see that?
Like, I don't think I've
like,
ever
oh my
met
gosh,
a girl that's been like, I want to see a dick pic.
No. And guys
we usually just cave in because they suggest
exactly.
It's not polite if you say no.
No, exactly. And a lot of times with girls, like we don't care so much necessarily about the size of the package because that's what they're doing when they send you a dick pic. They're like, look how big I am. And you're like, boy, do you know how to use that thing?
Honey.
Do you know how to use that? If you don't know how to use that, I don't care what size
90% don't.
Yes, exactly. And so like we don't care about the size, but men think it's all about this, whatever. Okay. So during this little tiny like break thing that we had, or we thought we were going to have, I'm in line at Tommy Bahama and grabbing a salad, and guy number two comes in to get his food. And of course I talk to everybody because I just do. And he had just moved here from out of state and was starting up a branch of his company here. And we were chatting and I was attracted to him like instantly. Very attractive man.
He is very good looking.
He is. Yeah. And he's very sweet and whatever. So then we went on a date, asked me out on a date. And I'm like, okay, sure. You know, why not? So went out on a date. First date was amazing. Very sweet, very respectful. No attempt of sex. No attempt of like even making out. Like you just really, really a great
Can't
conversation.
say that about many guys nowadays.
I know. Great conversation. Amazing guy. Like, and I was like, I could go on a second date with him, right? So we're texting back and forth and whatever. And I'm like, hey, are you going to ask me out on a second date or what? Right? Because like I really had fun. And he's like, oh, I didn't know if you'd want to. He's like, I would love to.
Oh, I
like,
love
okay,
that
great.
See, Angela, you're teaching me so much. Maybe I should just like be more upfront about that type of stuff, because I literally am terrified of just being like, hey, so are you going to ask me on a second date? Because then
what's the worst they could say? No.
You're absolutely
and then
crazy.
You've just saved, but then you've just saved yourself all of those
That's
hours
true.
and days of stress. Like now you know, and you can move on.
Yeah, that's true.
So we go on a second date. It's a lunch date in Old Town Scottsdale.
Fun.
And it was super fun. We ate at the Montauk and then we walked around, had some ice cream. We kind of walked around
love
Old
that
Town.
idea. Yes.
I know. It was
perfect.
So fun. Loved it. Amazing guy. Like the second date, I was like, this guy is just like.
He's a solid guy.
Solid guy. He's never been married and has no kids.
Okay.
Like amazing, amazing guy. So then third date, I go to his place. He's in North Scottsdale. So I go to his place and he's like, hey, I want to take you to this restaurant close by. I had just gotten off of work. So I smelled like spray tan solution. Yeah. And like I was in cutoff shorts and a tank top. And I'm like, hey, it's like 9:00 at night. I don't think anything's open. But he's like, yeah, no, there is. There's like this little country bar around the corner. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm already dressed for it. Right? Let's go.
This raunchy outfit.
I know. And I smell terrible. And I was like, this is like not.
You'll fit right in.
I probably hadn't shaved. Like, who knows? Do you know what I mean? It was like one of those times where you're totally unprepared, right? But I was like, I just enjoyed spending time with him. So I'm like, yeah. And I forewarned him, like, hey, listen, I just got off work. I look a little harsh, you know. But he's like, I don't think that's possible for you to look that way. So another man comes into my life that's like really positive and complimentary. And I'm like, wow, this is really different. I like this, right? Mm-hmm. So get up there. We have a great time again, like laughed the whole dinner. It was super fun, like super, super fun. Get out to the truck and I'm like, all right, like I got an early morning in the morning and so does he. And I'm like, I really got to go. And he leans in and kisses me, and which we hadn't kissed before, right? Like this is three dates.
Oh.
And we hadn't even kissed or held hands or anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he leans in and kisses me and I was like, oh, wow. I kind of feel something. Like
I feel some type of way.
I know. I feel some type of way about this guy. Because I had, between guy number 1 and guy number 2, I had kind of gone on a couple of mini dates and they would always kind of try to lean in and kiss me. And I was like, yeah, just didn't feel it. You know what I mean? Like very attractive.
Would you let them kiss you though?
Like a couple of them I did, because I was like, he's really handsome or he's really good looking.
You have that kiss, you feel that.
Yeah. And I would kiss him and I'd be like, nah, no.
Sometimes you just feel like you're kissing a wall.
Yeah. And there's just, it's not that it's just there's no chemistry.
There's no chemistry. It's not that they're terrible at kissing. It's just.
No, it literally comes down to chemistry.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so, but with guy number 2, I was like, ooh, I feel some type of way with him. Like he's, right? And so I'm like, wow, okay, so let's go date number 4. And he's like, okay, that'd be great. So we drive up to his place to get my car. And he has dogs. They come running out. And I love the dogs. I'm a huge dog lover. Yes. So I'm petting him and playing with him, whatever. And the one dog kept trying to bring me in to show me his new toy. Oh, right. And I was like.
That dog was trained.
It's right. A paid actor. I know. That's probably true, actually. So guy number 2 was like, oh, come in and see. And I'm like, yeah, I got like 5 minutes, right? So I go in. So then, of course, we start kissing more and then have fabulous sex. So, and again, it was like this second time, and this is only the
guy number 2 better be paying that dog all the treats after that night for what it did.
So guy number 2 was like, I don't know, when I was with him, again, same thing where I was like, why did I never feel this with my husband? Like, why did I never feel that
such a weird
passion?
Disconnect. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was never any passion. I never felt that. And with guy number 2, I did as well. And I was like, wow, I thought I could only, now with guy number 1, it's a different level of chemistry. It's almost like a spiritual connection. With guy number 2, it was definitely more physical chemistry. Okay. So
yes.
like, and
very different.
I don't have physical chemistry with everybody.
Yeah.
Guy number 1 is the type of guy that I will, like I said, like I will have to we're going to have to end up being together for the rest of our life, or I'm going to have to cut him out completely because he'll ruin whatever relationship I'm in, and I'll ruin whatever relationship he's in. Because when we are together, there is no self-control, period. There just isn't. And
That's every girl's dream.
He and I both know
every
that.
Girl's dream.
We're very aware of that. Like we see each other and we're like, oh, damn. But guy number 2 is amazing. So we kind of have this off and on thing. Life is crazy for both of us and we live in different places and it's just kind of like off and on, back and forth, but really great guy. Finally, I'm like, okay, like you live too far away. He wants a relationship.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I hadn't even been divorced a year. And I was like, I don't want a relationship. Like, I love this. I love going out and dating and then going home and like having my son and right. Exactly. And he wanted me all in. He
was ready to put
he was all in. Oh yeah. He was all in. So he's like, you're different from all the Scottsdale women that I've dated. And you're different from like, you're just so real. He's like, you don't even wear makeup. I'm like, okay. And like, I guess whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess that was a thing. Okay. So he and I kind of are on the splitsies and just sort of like cooling off, a little bit of break. And at the same time, guy number 1 had kind of been seeing someone and that fizzled. And so it literally was, honestly like magnets just pulled us back together.
Of course.
And so we started our thing again and it was great. Awesome. And then it wasn't. Then all of a sudden it was, we had this amazing night and he was like, hey, I have something going on in my life that's really stressful and I need to take care of it. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, that's fine. And then, like a day turned into a week, turned into a couple weeks. And ironically enough, at the same time, guy number 2
comes back,
starts texting me again, right? And that's just how it goes with these two.
Yeah. To keep it short, basically, when guy number 1 exits, guy number 2 goes back in.
Yeah.
And when guy number 2 is kind of in the background and not really present, guy number 1 hops back in.
And it's not even me doing it. It's literally just happens.
Never reaches out to them first. And like these guys, we just talked about this earlier today. Yeah. It's like they have a walkie-talkie with each other. And as soon as one's done with her, the other hops in and just chimes in and says, is it my turn yet? It's like constant. So I don't know what the dealio is with these two guys.
I don't either.
Guy number 1 needs to figure his stuff out.
Yes.
Guy number 2 needs to chill out.
Yeah. I like, and even like right now, this very minute, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like you can't even ask me because I don't know. Like I
really don't.
Yeah. I'm like, who knows?
Oh man. But like, just take it one day at a time. I know you're going to figure this out. Like it's just, I personally, me being in my 20s, I am so jealous of your love life. Like, I think it is so exciting. And, like, it's everything. Honestly, yes, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot for you to juggle between, like, being a mom and, like, trying to juggle 2 guys, technically. Like, I'm so jealous. It looks so, like, fun. Meanwhile, I get no action at all. And that's about it. Like, I just get toyed around with and I let guys waste my time. Yet you know what you want and you are vocal about it. And yet you just let things happen. And it's just so fun.
But here's the difference. I'm 50. I don't
like
allow.
You're so much fun.
I don't allow people in my space who are going to jerk my chain. Listen, I grew up being judged for what I wore and didn't wear, if I showed up or didn't show up for church, if I helped out and did so many community service hours, how I raised my kids, what my home looked like. You're judged for everything. Mm-hmm. I actually entered with my energy, said I'm done with that and pushed it away, right? Which means when you cut something off from your own energy field and you say, I will not allow this in my space any longer, you now open it up to the opposite, which is people who don't judge you for what you look like. They judge you for your character, for your kindness, for who you are. And so those people start coming into your life. When you say to these men who are like, and that's the thing, as women, we've allowed for too long, we've allowed men to get away with like, oh, he's going through his hoe phase, right? That's lasted from the time he was 12 until he's like 45, right?
Yeah, like they get a solid pass all the time and it's just like, oh, it's boys being boys.
No, why can't you explore your sexuality? Why can't I explore
get called
mine?
The hoe.
Right? And you know what? That's where it's wrong. Why can't I say to myself, which is exactly what I did, I was neglected for too long. I will not be neglected any longer. I now open my space to people who are going to come in and fulfill me. And guy number one rebuilt my self-esteem in 1 year. I owe him, and from the deepest part of my soul, I owe him every ounce of respect and love. Mm-hmm. He came in, and when we were together, it was together. It wasn't just sex. It was a connection. It was the conversation we had. He deeply cared about me, still does care about me, and I deeply care about him. But the way he was able to rebuild what some other man broke down is incredible.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And what guy number two has offered me is the reality that there are good men out there who actually want a relationship, who want to build a life with someone.
Doesn't seem realistic, but
it doesn't, but they're out there.
Yeah.
And as soon as women start taking control over their femininity, as soon as we as women, and when I say femininity, I'm not talking about like marching in the street saying, equal rights, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about walking out of the house, whether you're a size 13 or a size 1, whether you have double D's or you have A's, whether you have a fat ass or you have no ass, I don't care what it is. You walk out of the house and you decide that day, I look fucking hot. And I own it. And you know what? Who I'm going to allow into my space? The people that are going to feed that energy for me, right? Not the people who are just trying to get my pants, the people who are going to feed that need that I have, because we all have a sexual need. Whether somebody fulfills you sexually or not also has to do with you putting out the right type of energy. There's a million hot guys out there. I'm taking
notes. I'm staring into your soul taking notes right now.
There's a million hot guys out there, and most of them are not worth your time. And there's a million average guys out there, and most of them aren't worth your time. And women can be the same way, but I'm telling you what, when you finally say to yourself, this is what I deserve. I deserve a man who feeds my soul, okay? So when we're connecting physically, there's a definite spiritual connection. And then there are some nights where you're like, I just got to get laid. I don't really care who it is, right? And that's okay too. You know why? Because we need to be allowed to feed that side of us. When we are looking at the way our bodies are made and the way that our energy is connected to our body or our spirit, whatever you want to call it, it's all connected. When someone touches your arm, even just ever so slightly, right? Where do you feel it? You feel it all over.
It's like chills.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
When someone very gently touches your neck or whatever, you feel it all over.
Oh, I'll dump them.
Exactly.
anything with my neck, I will jump.
Right? Yeah, the neck is the spot for me as well. I know. So when there's a difference between just having sex. Sometimes we need that because there's a physical component of us that just needs to be fed. And that needs to be okay. And we need to stop labeling ourselves as hoes or sluts. Because guess what? Guys do it all the time and they're not labeled that way, right?
Their bros will literally worship them.
For real. They're like, dude, 3
like,
chicks
what's
in
the
one
double
weekend?
standard?
Wow, you're amazing. Versus a girl that sleeps with 3 guys, they're like, what is your problem, you slut? Right?
Yeah.
No more
like
of that.
Daddy issues?
Right, exactly. No more of that. No, I'm sorry. I have a physical need and I need it to be met. And I'm going to now be safe. Let me preface this by saying be safe. But like physically, you have that need. We also have a need emotionally. There's different kinds of sex. And one of them is just physical and another of them is on a different level. It's that intimate level where you are connecting with this person through not just your physical body, but you can actually feel their energy. And that's different.
Probably not as smart as you.
Okay, listen. The most beautiful people on the earth are the ones that can express their emotions without being afraid to express their emotions. Yeah. I'm the kind of person that if something touches my soul, I'll cry in front of 1,000 people. I don't care. Who cares?
Because I was raised otherwise. You know that.
Sure, yes.
Tina does not cry.
No. Tina's one tough woman. She's an amazing woman.
Yeah.
But, you need to be able to express that. And the reason why we have to express that is because when you keep that bottled up inside, you're shaming yourself. Is what you're doing. Shame on you for feeling that way. Don't feel that way. And basically what you're doing, if I were to say to you, don't feel that way, shame on you, you'd be like, well, that was kind of mean. But you're saying it to yourself. So stop saying it to yourself. Feel it. Feel all of it.
That's
because
so
when
true.
we feel it, when we really feel it, when we really feel pain, when we really feel anger, when we allow ourselves to feel even jealousy, like sometimes jealousy creeps in but own it. Don't pretend like it's not jealousy you feel. Own it, right?
If I let my true emotions creep out, they're like, oh, it's the Scorpio in her.
So what?
Like the astrology girls come out and attack me. They're like,
proud of it.
I knew it. And I'm like, oh.
Proud of it. Who cares?
I know.
Like, honestly, because here's the thing. Once you become more authentic, the world is full of fake people. We see it all over social media. We see it every single day.
Yes.
Right? Fake. The world needs more authentic people. And once you become more authentic and you allow yourself to cry when you feel like crying without making an excuse, and somebody says, why are you crying? And you're like, because I feel like it. Because I need to cry for a second.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me have it and I'll be fine. Just let me have it, right? You're with someone and you feel those deep emotions. They might not be feeling it, but you do. That's okay. Allow that person to feed your soul. You don't have to connect spiritually with everybody. Mm-hmm. You can feel it from them. They might not feel it from you, and that's okay. Because the other thing I've learned is that people come into your life to serve a purpose if you let them. Guy number 1 is somebody that I will probably never be with ever long term. But what he has given me is invaluable. He healed me from a lifetime of sexual and emotional trauma. In 1 year, this man healed me from that.
And he's not just healing you like for just now. It's like forever. Like your future self.
I'm a completely different woman. And do you know why I was allowed to meet guy number 2? Because of where I was. Because of the fact that I was in that place where I was happy with my body. I was happy with myself. I was in a really good mental place, emotional place. That allowed this really great man, guy number 2, who I typically probably would never have even connected with because my energy wouldn't have matched his.
No, it definitely wouldn't have.
No. So you have to be able to accept that. Allow
100%.
yourself to feel all of it.
Well, it seems like you're in a good place right now.
I'm in a great place.
I love it. And I wanted to ask you, like, obviously it seems like you are, but are you happy? Like,
oh my gosh. happiness.
I know it's defined in so many different
happy.
ways.
I'm joyful. I have peace. I have clarity. Things that I haven't had in a very long time. I don't doubt myself anymore. Like I used to doubt all the time, right?
Yes.
Like, am I doing enough? Am I enough? Did I do this enough? Did I do that enough? Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. I don't doubt that anymore. Mm-hmm. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, let's do it. Let's start. Let's get this going. And I have great days and I have bad days. And on my bad days, I cry. Mm-hmm. And I allow myself to cry. And sometimes I allow myself to sit down and binge on Netflix and I don't beat myself up about it. I work out at the gym every day because it's my sanity. And I don't really like junk food, but every now and then I'm going to eat it because I also am a little sad, right? Like I might miss guy number 2, or I might be sad that guy number 1 and I didn't get together. And so I'm like, I'm going to eat the M&Ms, right? Like, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Yeah. I decided that this next phase of my life was I was just going to live. I wasn't going to say to myself, this is your set of rules and you can only be happy if you follow these rules. No, this next set of life is like, I'm just going to live.
Just do you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if I want to wake up today and be like, I think I want to go to Vegas this weekend. Like, you better take me with you. Right? Like, I think I want to go to Vegas. I'll go to Vegas. Now, I have enough self-respect that I'm careful, right? I'm not saying go out there and be stupid about things. I'm not saying about go out and get sloppy drunk and then wake up in someone's house that you don't know, which everybody's done that before. Once in a while, it's okay, as long as it's not Ted Bundy's house, right?
I mean, I don't think I've done that, right? Have I, Angela?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've done that.
But allow yourself to say, I'm going to go and have that cocktail and I'm not going to go to hell because I'm having a cocktail. I'm going to have a cup of coffee and I'm not going to go to hell because I'm having a cup of coffee. I'm just having a cup of coffee.
You're just not putting that weight and negativity in your head anymore.
And I'm not allowing anybody to come into my space and say, you are sinning. Look at what your kids have left the church because of you. Or you are blah, 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 right? No. And this is the conversation I had with my oldest son the other night. Stop letting those people invade your space. Be authentic to yourself. 100%. Love yourself enough to say, thank you for your opinion. I don't agree with you, but it is your opinion. And that's valid. If a woman says to me, I've never been happier than I am in the church, I say to them, that is fantastic. And
we're happy for you.
And I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. I have a different story.
We all go through life so differently, and we're going through different experiences, and their experience with the church could be so beautiful and just enlightening. But for some of us, like, I've been involved with the church too.
Yes, you have. Yes,
and my family has.
Yeah,
we almost converted.
Yeah.
And it was not a pretty sight.
Yeah.
Like, we went from we got an award, Best Nail Salon in Mesa.
Yeah.
Because we had the church backing us up at the time because they thought we were going to convert. A year later, we disconnected from the church. We never went to anything else. We did not go to sacrament or anything. I did not go to, whatever I was on Wednesdays.
Mutual.
Yeah, Mutual. Mm-hmm. Didn't go to that anymore. And our business went downhill from there. That's why we sold it. Because we no longer had any Mormons backing us up.
Yeah.
Like, I think you and, the one particular family that we just talked about were the only, like, LDS people that were really consistently coming in.
Yeah.
And the others were just, like, old folks that were snowbirds.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's about it.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Your experience with the church and my experience with the church is our own, and that it doesn't.
They can't say that, it didn't happen.
No, they can't. People can't negate what has happened to me.
Yeah.
And I can't say that they're brainwashed.
No.
Okay, your reality is your reality and mine is mine. Mm-hmm. And you have to allow me the space to speak my truth.
Yes.
Exactly. Instead of trying to hush me. Yes.
Beautifully said. Okay, last question is if you could give a piece of advice for a woman that's going through something similar, whether that's, they're freshly divorced or they're trying to navigate where they are going to go in life. Like, what is just one pivotal thing that you just want to nail into their head?
I know it's really hard to do this. The first thing is hurry up and get into therapy. Get into counseling immediately. Don't wait. Don't wait until you can afford it. Figure it out and get in, right? Like, find a free therapist if you like, but get into therapy. And I know it's really hard because as women, we carry the baggage of what people think about us wherever we go. When we go into a dressing room and we try on a yellow dress because yellow is our favorite color, we remember someone from 35 years ago saying, you don't look very good in yellow. And so we don't try on the yellow dress, right? We as women do that. We judge ourselves so harshly, and we carry the baggage of what people say all the time with us. Okay, that's what I would say. What you need to do is when you step out of one life, you physically need to almost do this, where you stand in a place before you walk into your new space, whether it's an apartment, a rental home, or whatever it is. You literally stand in your old space outside, physically visualize everything leaving you, the weight, the worry, the stress, the things people have said about you. You leave it out before you step into your new space. Don't bring that energy into your new space. And when you step into your new space, you say, okay, who am I? Who am I now, right? Mm-hmm. Do I like yellow? I'm going to wear yellow every single day, right?
Because it makes you happy.
That's right. Yes. And who cares what people think about it, right? Like, I love that. If I feel good at the weight I am, then that's what's healthy for me, right? Instead of what my ex said I should look like, or what this person said I should be like. So don't change
yourself because in your past this is what they wanted. Because then you're just doing exactly what they wanted all over again.
Don't bring your past with you. Leave it in the past. And for a lot of women, their ex is still really involved in their life because they have young children. And even for that, let that be in your past. Communication stays through email or whatever. Everything is very cut and dry with them. But do not allow what they have said. Do not allow what they have done to you. Do not allow what people have made you feel about yourself. Don't bring it with you into your new life. Cut it out and make the life that you want.
Yep.
You can. You have the ability to.
You hold all the power.
Totally. You really do.
Yeah.
And if one day you want to cry, you cry. If one day you're happy, you're happy. But you have the ability to control that.
If you want to be a hoe, be a hoe. Do what needs to be done. Mamas out there or divorcees, do what you need to do.
Find a couple guys, guy 1, guy 2, you're happy.
Maybe guy 3?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know.
For 1 year in, maybe the third guy will come up.
Who knows?
Who knows? You're going to go home and maybe you're going to go to Tommy Bahamas later, find another guy.
You never know.
Well, thank you so much for having this long talk with me. We're probably going to split this into 2 episodes, and I'm very excited for people to hear all of this and be like, holy shit, has she gone through a lot in a year? A freaking year.
We didn't even talk about the business I started and sold.
I know. Like, this is just like...
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the business side of things.
A little bit of scraping on the surface.
Yep, this was a little piece of icing.
Yeah, so...
thank you.
If there's any social media that you want to boost, give us the Instagram handles right here. Just list it out.
Cool.
And you can follow me at TrishvPhoto, TrishvTalks, Patricia Ivivo. And then what are your Instagrams?
I'm just AMChase 2022.
Beautiful.
That's just me. And my TikTok is Mama T.
Mama T. Yep. And you can follow her and see all her cute little videos of her going to Hawaii with Noah.
Yep. It's really just me and my kids.
Yes. The cool kids.
You'll never see pictures of guy number 1 and guy number 2.
Yeah, sorry.
They're not going to be there. Yeah, if you're looking for that stuff, it's not on there.
It's not on there. It stays in your imagination.
It stays private. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is basically it for this episode. I am really excited for you guys to hear whoever is coming up next. Sweet. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.